Welcome back to Orwell. Ignorance is strength. I keep wanting to call it ignorance is bliss. So we found out a ton of new information about Raban and Ilya's background, which would have been way more interesting to find out and have to hold on to this entire time rather than finding out on the third day when it seems kind of irrelevant. I don't know. Maybe the family will come back up in some way, but everybody's parents are coming out on day 3, so it's kind of weird. We also found that Ilya's phone has a one-way ticket to leave the city. He's not leaving the country though, so whatever, I guess. I don't know. I don't need to set off any alarm bells for that, right? It's probably fine. Okay, why are you making me look at this again? Huh? Oh. Well, this is the bombing, right? Miss Levine Vart, it has been brought to our attention that your patient has been involved in a criminal case. And she's been shot. Okay. Hand in your report. Okay. Interesting background, but again, it's like distracting information that has more to do with the first game than the second. I mean, it seems to me this should directly conflict with the thing we were reading earlier on the forum thing about how Raban was the one who talked to Oleg and probably as a result got him out of his service. Also, drafting 27-year-olds seems odd to me, but anyway, let's see. I guess we'll throw this in. Don't really know what we're looking for anymore. Truly horrible. Then again, as a punishment for what? Maybe they deserved it after all. Maybe you're horrible. Okay, I have to imagine we need to drop in some of this draft information in order to get more information about the other side of that. Well, there it is. Okay. Army of Parges forcibly recruited a lot of men into their ranks when the conflict with the FTP erupted anew. Seems like Ilya hasn't been no exception to it. You couldn't find this before? Seems fucking relevant. So they were in the same infantry division. It's a pretty sizable unit though, right? Is the captain the head of the infantry division? In charge of 1st Infantry Division Prava. But that was in 2015. Which was many, many years later. Wounded in combat, officially absent from service, returned in 2012. So... shortened basic training completed. Why is he smiling in this picture if he hated it so much? I'm not putting any stock in that, but you know. So Raban did not get him out. But he was bragging about it. Discharged by local command. I mean, that's... I don't know. This could be a lie too. Because this is their own internal documentation. There's no reason for them to tell the truth in there. This really isn't in conflict because he could have attempted to flee and successfully fled, but they don't list it as such. I don't know. No good answer there. He got punished. And his parents were kidnapped as a punishment. Poor Ilya had to live with such a burden. Are you being sarcastic? There's a powerful narrative in that. Is there? Could we have a narrative? Oh, really? That's our narrative? No, we cannot spread it yet. Now before Raban publishes his article, keep searching. So would this have gone differently if I had chosen the other side of this? Like, what would the spin be? Because this doesn't even make sense, because the family was punished before, right? I guess actually the documentation for this just says 2010, so we don't know the dates, and the this happened in 2010 as well, but it doesn't say when. So I actually, now that I think about it, I wish I had gone the other way with it, because the local authority dismissed him in 2010, but they then fled the country completely at the beginning of 2011. Like, maybe that's true, or maybe, to me, the more likely thing sounds like he either got away or they didn't need him anymore, found he was too troublesome to keep. I don't know. Like, if they were actually struggling to keep their troops in order, then logically they probably don't have time to go bully his parents. To me, that is what makes sense, but I don't know. Who is David Johns? Who is this person? I feel like they're kind of important. Also, maybe Oleg should be attached to... Actually, maybe we didn't put that piece of information in, did we? No commentary on that at all, despite being in the same division. Huh? Okay, well, apparently that was nothing too. I don't think this tells us anything other than that Raban was trying to be at least a dutiful brother. We really don't have a lot to go on. I think we should throw in this. I don't really want to, but it's gonna... I'm sure it will set off things that we want to know about. Ilya is making for a run for it seems. Who can blame him? Why, we could, of course. Maybe he'd consider staying if the news would turn out to be against his liking. Oh, so they want to paint him as a deserter. So is this... This is the same, huh? Wait, why is this locked down now? Did this break? Well, hoping that wasn't important and it locked us out on purpose for some reason. Oh, no, that's right. It was because we're waiting on Raban again. I forgot. Really should say something there. Or like if it tries it, if we try it, then Ampliford speaks up or something. Why does this say there's still a piece of it? Oh, the picture. All right, we'll throw this in. Curious whether that worked out. We know it didn't. Or what it took to convince McKay. Where's that draft? Are you still working on this? Insulting your reader base and calling them idiots is not a smart move, man. One of a long list of not smart moves. Well, I don't know. I don't really want to put this in. They weren't really revolutionaries. Fuck it. Sure, we'll get the connection there. Seems they were once were literally closer than we thought. Does that actually change the tree here? It doesn't. Oleg's still over here for some reason. I mean, we already know this is the case. I'm curious if this has any relevancy. I don't know why it would be relevant. We already know. I bet Ramon has no idea about Karen's entanglements with the party, nor has anyone of his followers. We should let them know, maybe, but we need more backing if we truly are trying to put the blame on Karen here. Well, we kind of can't. Well, I mean, we can. We can just lie. But if we're being, like, accurate to reality, we don't actually have evidence that the funding necessarily goes to Karen's work, and also, even if it does, that's literally most people in the country, it would seem, because anybody who isn't supported by the government is actively being destroyed by the government. And then her familial relation kind of isn't relevant, at least if we're being accurate to reality, because they don't speak. So... Still no publishing from Raban, huh? Hey, man, did you... No scheduled publishing time. You're a terrible journalist. Just all the time, terrible. I mean, I'm gonna have to start putting in random information. Just put it in. Just put it in. There was another one earlier where I was in that open menu and I dragged something in and it knew where to put it. Not that, huh? Anything left in here? Sure, I like that one better. Didn't remember what nice hand was. Yeah, I mean, we can't publish anything. We're feeding shit data into the system right now, but guess we'll do it. I actually hate this picture too. We'll use that one. No, I don't like the open mouth. It's weird. That one. That one's fine. We already knew this about Raban, so this is probably nothing. Really? By that, Vart may have drawn fire directly onto the school. Why would he consider such a thing? How mindless can you get? Well, because he's friends. They were friends with Oleg. They were neighbors. He deserves to go down, and so he will, by our hand. The Pargesian army will protect Prava Secondary. I have managed to make a deal with Oleg Bakay, whose unit from the Pargesian army will protect our school. That's really weird, Raban. I don't know why you were so specifically worried about... Oh, that's right. There was that discussion of them taking their kids out of school. Unit of Pargesian soldiers around the school is a good idea. Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, okay. I don't know why this is relevant. So this is why Oleg and Raban met at the school. They had some kind of protection deal going on. It sounds extremely dumb to me. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter why at this point. Especially because Bakay is no longer alive. Raban may have done this in order to protect his brother, as he had promised. Still, this would let him look quite bad. Huh? Oh, because he was are you... That's a terrible way of saying it, but I think you're inferring that he was trying to get the division stationed at the school with the assumption that it would be a cushy post so that his brother would not be in danger. Right? So why not go for it? Raban published his article, Time to Strike Back has come. You can go on searching for more material to create narratives from, though. Please take your time. When ready, strike Raban Vart as hard as you can. We need to make this count. Okay, so we've got our 2 narratives to work with. So what is his article? Pending draft's gone. Don't call it a conspiracy, you idiot. If you're trying to write a meaningful journalistic article, which you aren't, because you're just searching for stuff in your web history. Actually, he didn't do any of that today. He did a bunch of it yesterday. Blaine and Cassard are conspiring against us. The meeting are trying to distract you from the truth. Blaine and Cassard are conspiring against you. The rumors that I married my wife... Oh my god, that's not how you start the article, man. That should be a footnote at best. Bonton is threatened by terrorists. The Prime Minister is leaving the country. I mean, that's a terrible argument to make. Like, yes, a bombing in a city is terrible, but that doesn't necessarily change... can't believe I'm defending the government actor here, but, like, it doesn't change your political priorities all the time. Anyway, not weird that he's meeting Cassart, throwing him a military parade. So what the meeting really shows and what you should really be worried about, I hereby call for a protest in front of the presidential palace. You really buried the lead. So, classic rule of writing or journalistic writing is you put your summary at the top. Because a lot of, especially traditionally in this is a little bit less relevant now than it was back in the newspaper days, but traditionally it still works under the same assumption that a lot of people will only read the first sentence or the first paragraph, and therefore, in order to get the most information conveyed in the least amount of time, both to ensure people can be informed by simply skimming, and also so you can hook people to read the entire article, you need to lead with the most relevant information as succinctly as possible. So instead of the rumors that I married my wife only to get out of the refugee camp is not the way to open this article. If you wanted to open this article, don't title it what you titled it, because that implies that you're making up things, because that's what conspiracy... I mean, it's not what conspiracy means, but it is the it is a popular interpretation that will be that has negative connotations that you don't want. So title it something like Blaine and Cassart ignore the needs of their respective peoples and enrich themselves, or something like that. And then the first paragraph should be something to the effect of our two nations' leaders are oppressing our respective peoples and ignoring real dangers to the common people. We march for a protest, such date and place and time. And then you have the rest of the article with the actual details, right? This is terrible writing. You don't, Orwell, you don't think this is relevant and maybe something we should let the system know about? Anyway. There's really not much data left, but it's interesting. We're also not under a time crunch today, which is odd. I mean, I just don't... This just isn't true. I wish there was a way to submit data as bad data, you know? But whatever. It's not how the system works. I know it has the hide option, but... So, who do we want to screw over? I mean... Ilya is a shithead. But, like, both from a who deserves to be ignored more and who does, and in a more practical way, and also who does the nation really hate and want to go after, the clear answer is Vart, right? Is Raban, excuse me. So, I mean, this is just a lie, but what else is new? Why is this? Oh, no, it's okay. It is just one. What? Why is this? I don't like that the button gets darker to indicate that. I thought that meant it wasn't ready and I had to wait. Weird. All right, whatever. We'll see what happens. So, you did get on the train? Or you're at the station at least? It's all spread and done. The fact that Raban made the deal to help his brother decrease the impact our narrative had. Yeah. I know, because both of these are bad narratives. Good work, but not good enough. Raban is still around and he still has a loyal follower base. Yeah, no shit. What absurdities does he dare to claim this time? You sold the power of a secondary shelter to the Pergesian army. How you do such a thing? Oh, so they didn't even write unite. They didn't even write unique data here, because calling the brother a traitor, that was the other narrative, right? I mean, they're connected, obviously, but calling him a coward was more part of the other narrative. And Raban is once again doing a terrible job of defending himself. If he was just honest about it, it was like, I was worried about the children that I felt like I was responsible for, and therefore making a deal with the army to to give our school protection felt like it was an important effort to make, you know. Pending article. Okay, here we go. This is genuinely very sad. Like, we're at this point, we are actively exploiting his, you know, his lifelong trauma. Well, not lifelong, but a long time trauma to you know, break him. Like I said, like, this is a very petty way to get rid of a politically inconvenient individual. There are much less personal and less spectacular ways, and more effective ways of getting rid of somebody who is, you know, decreasing the influence of somebody who is inconvenient, rather than drawing a bunch of more attention to them. If anything, like, us constantly drawing attention to Raban, even if it's all negative. I mean, you've heard the phrase, there's no such thing as bad press. That's kind of true in a lot of cases. At some point, even if, like, that's not always true, but it is often true that sometimes just getting eyes on you is so much more important than whether the eyes like you or not. I mean, we kind of know this to be true. He's blaming the nation for his own fall. Our own army attacking a school. We're the peacekeepers. Well, that was the whole thing about the investigation we did before about the bombing, is it sure looked like the nation came in for quote-unquote support and instead did not support, just bombed randomly. It's high time we turn things around. This has to end now. We cannot let these preposterous lies stand. We will destroy Raban Vart. You will, now. Hey, Ampleford, you need to chill the fuck out. Give me something that shows beyond any doubt that the nation isn't the one to blame here. I mean, can I? Your loyalty to me is beyond any limits. You have been with me from the start. The people's voice would not nearly have become what it terrible phrasing. The people's voice would not nearly have become what it is, at least add a comma, had you not been there. You're more than a fan, you're a true friend. But I'm tired. I've been riding furiously all day to this point, and look where it got me. Nowhere. Everything around me is falling apart. I have no one left. Even my followers are turning their backs on me. It's all over. It has to end. I want it to end. Well, this is going to be genuinely depressing if he decides to off himself at the end of this narrative. Which kind of looks like where it's leaning. It would be great to know who David Johns is. He's come up several times. Could we learn a little bit more about him? Oh, now you want me to know. Yeah, exactly, Ampleford. Why didn't you find anything about him before? David Johns, again, you had mentioned him before. Regardless, it doesn't matter what role had. You mean he had? It doesn't matter what role had with the people's voice. What matters is only the destruction of Raban. Hey, Ampleford, you've been on me all day about how I need to get more connections so that we can destroy people more effectively. This is exactly that kind of thing. If we found out that David Johns was, say, a Pargesian politician or something like that, that would be a great spin for us to be able to say, oh, actually, it's, you know, it's this random politician from another country who's been funding Raban the whole time. You should never listen to him because he's an enemy agent or something. That would be so easy, even if it was completely untrue. An unsung hero that you need to know about. This is super old. Wanted to cheer you up. Stressed and sad. Since you helped me get out of the Pargesian army, I want to do something for you. Oh, so you did. He did? But it was after he was already in? You straight up lying to make me feel better will not change this. We are the guardians of the truth. You know, I am not a hero. I don't know. You're pretty loudmouthed about your own importance if you don't want to be a hero. I don't know why this... Oh. Yeah. I mean, we already submitted this. But... But he's saying it's a lie? Is Raban, is it actually a lie? Or are you... Like, what part of it is a lie? Why is the conclusion as well that he lied about his brother? Not that the story itself is a lie. Everybody tells lies sometimes. See, you aren't just another lunatic mouthpiece. I mean, you are, though, and you've gotten worse over the last 5 years. I lived them, not you. Got fan mail. Hey, this would be relevant to put in somewhere. Fan mail already by a guy named David Johns who called himself a huge fan of mine. I don't want that kind of attention. What other data do we have to put in? There's not a lot. In fact, is that our only data piece? Well, we could put in the fact that Ilya's leaving town. And he's gone. Ilya's out of the equation, though I'm not sure what that will make our life easier or harder. Okay, well, I guess we're done with them then. Even though this is not about the city, it's about the country, but apparently once he's out of town, we don't care. Okay. Sure, why not? So that's literally our only remaining piece of information is this one. We already kind of know he doesn't want to be seen as a hero, but we'll throw it in there. But despite this, he's profited a great deal from being considered a hero. Raban Vard is a sad joke, bereft of moral standards, and he is going down. Stop making it personal. It's not helping. What part did he lie about, though? Wait, what exactly did Ilya lie about regarding his brother? Oh, good. Now we get to listen to something. Raban. Oh. Raban, it's a lie. It's all a lie. I'm not your friend. I've never been. I can't fully explain it this time. At this time. I've only been here recently. I've just been informed you're about to claim the nation bombed your school. Hold on. This is not... Oh, I can't back out. No, I can't back out of it. Okay. This is not the same writer. Look at the writing style. From David Johns. Look at the writing style. This is normal, reasonable prose. It's got normal capitalization and punctuation. This is not. I mean, it's not completely, that's not completely conclusive, but it's very suspicious. I'm not your friend. I've never been. I can't fully explain it at this time. I've only been here recently. I've just been informed that you're about to claim the nation bombed your school. You have no idea how right you are. I realize this may be my last chance of getting out of this mess. So I got my hands on some internal documents for you. What really happened at Prava Secondary, it's all in there. I will try to get you more. Keep an eye on new Perko Leaks documents. For now, I must keep my head down. They will come for me. They will now come for me. Hit them as hard as you can. David. Operation Cavalry. This document describes an incident in which the National Army bombarded a Parisian school. The Army of the Nation had been well aware of the fact that many students and teachers were in the building at the time. The school had been used as a bomb shelter for many weeks. On December 6, 2010, national troops started shelling the school, leaving it completely destroyed. Afterwards, the ruins were searched by military with the help of civilians looking for their children. Soldiers Oleg Bakay and Alexander Petrovic were the only survivors on the side of the Parisian army and were secured from the shelter. There was only one known civilian survivor, whom the Parisian soldiers had managed to save, but was still seriously injured. The school's principal, Raban Vart, had been found wounded and retrieved from the ruins. When encountered by civilians, Raban Vart was met with extreme aversion and had to be protected from them by the army. Okay, so they were mad that that the kids had been killed. That's understandable. I don't know about blaming the now paralyzed principal. I could understand being angry at him, but like it's not his. It's pretty obviously not his fault. Even if he made a bad decision, like it's not like he caused them to be killed, or well, actively, you know. The only survivors. So I feel like we're going to need to know about Alexander Petrovic at some point, because he might still be alive. The report reveals that the order to open fire had been given by a supreme command within the government of the nation, who had stated that the school was occupied by terrorist group forces of True Pargis. This turned out to be untrue, since there were only civilians and Parisian army soldiers on site. The shelling was a serious violation of international law and human rights by the army of the nation. Nice. Feel like we should upload this. And piss off Ampleford, because... hello? I don't know why I was glitching out there. I couldn't... When I clicked on it, nothing happened. This is how he ended up with us, yes. Okay. And then... Raban Vart, the only civilian. I don't see a hint to his students there. I thought he had rescued a lot of his students. Okay, so the lie was that he rescued kids. Here comes his article. We must end this. Get me a narrative. Well, now don't suddenly, you can't suddenly push this on me now. Wait, what? The national government kills civilians. They fabricate stories, they order bombings, they kill their own, and our people to distract us all from the truth. This is why I shall now from now on call them national murderers. Okay. I don't know, man. Again, this is a terrible, terrible piece of rhetoric. You were there, you saw what happened, and this is the way you tell the story? You didn't even explain... I mean, you have no proof that we know of that it was the nation. But you can at least spin that, like... Hey, I was the only survivor. and all of the soldier me the kid me and two soldiers were the only survivor. All the kids died and all the other soldiers died, and then the nation showed up to like ask what happened, which was awfully suspicious. That would be a much more useful spin on this. I don't know if we actually have a timeline, so we're just gonna, excuse me, we're just gonna put everything in. Huh, the power of the people. What did he do to deserve that? What happened there? Well, we already know. They were unsure about him asking. Yeah, here it is. My child just died in the school bombing. I want justice. Really? Your child died in the bombing and you went to the school afterwards, you went to the school website, the school forum to post about it? Bro. Really? You're gonna put survivor's guilt, more survivor's guilt on Raban Vart? Dude, he's fucking paralyzed. He couldn't walk when you saw him, so... So they're just blaming him and blaming him and blaming him. This guy, the mayor, is saying to blame the FTP, who is the group that... Wait, is that the group? No, this was Save Pargus. Not, yeah, not the free... Okay, blame our government from not protecting us. Blame soldiers from the nation for failing just as much. Do not blame us. This is wild. I could understand maybe one unhinged parent, but like, I hate to draw this back to the real world, but typically, like, there are a lot of school tragedies in this country on a regular basis, which is horrific to have to say, but it's true. And so the idea, like, it's pretty clear from a lot of those incidents that it is, the parents don't then blame the principal. Like, I know this is a bit of a different situation because he asked for the army to be there, but like, that's like saying, I don't know, if they were in the middle of an active war or something, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Maybe we just don't have a clear picture of the level of the conflict that was going on there, or whether this could have been a reasonable expectation. But it seems wild that there would be so many parents who are just like, clearly Raban is the villain. The bomb that hit Prava Secondary was a GPBN 300. These bombs were owned primarily by the Pyrgesian army. This was not the FTP. This attack was executed by the army and therefore the government itself. So this is his inciting incident. We already knew that, but that's very clear. I don't know how the fuck he got this information. Or who from. That is suspicious. How? You are a child murderer. Buddy, he was the principal. You trusted him with your kids all day, every day. Even if you think it's his fault for drawing the fire by having the army there, then I don't know how you confuse that with actually being the murderer. And so, right. So the fact is they did not flee. The reality is they did not flee from their town because, like, they basically they're being run out on a rail. They had nothing left to stay for. Everybody they cared about no longer liked them or was dead. I cannot believe this. This man, this fraud, to claim he saved the students despite... Well, he didn't, though. We should have known. We should have known a long time ago. This is what Ilya must have lied about for him. All these lies make me sick. But there's a silver lining. This is what we need. No need to construct a narrative. This itself will be his undoing. Bring him down. Bring him down. Okay, dude. Chill. There's something happening on Karen's PC. It could be important. You may want to investigate before you spread the narrative. Interesting. Well, here's the patient report that was requested. Final report, Nina Matronova. She had been already discharged, earning a bravery medal. Her discharge meant absence without official leave. Patient had never made a clear statement about the reason for her disobedience during her time in the army. In most of our sessions, noticeably distant, unresponsive, even aggressive, continuously struggling with PTSD, tackling money problems, physical mental condition deteriorate. I was aware that something was up with Miss Maternova and she seemed unusually stressed. Fuck off, I can't read. There had been a scheduled psychotherapy appointment. Did not attend this appointment, had previously tried to postpone it. I have no reason to believe the patient is actually responsible for the Bonton bombings. Yeah, I didn't think that was the same person, but anyway. At this point, I am also not able to provide an alibi or anything else that would prove. As a psychotherapist, I can say I would not be able to preclude the possibility that she would be capable of such a crime. Cannot confirm this with certainty either. Well, unfortunately, they're going to take a very selective reading of that. Because they have a narrative to fulfill. Interesting indeed. Karen protected the Bonton bombings perpetrator. That's insane, Ampleford. If anything, this is not being protective enough. As soon as these connections become evident, Raban's reputation will greatly suffer. Put the people's voice to an end. It's a risk maybe worth pursuing you. No. I mean, these are both awful. But as long as we're playing the villains, we can at least be being the villains by telling the truth. I'm hoping this is the end of the day, because we've been here a long time. I mean, we're coming up on 11 hours of work today. Oh my god, take a look at Blatterer, you need to see this. I don't want to look at Twitter. Wasn't it obvious from the beginning? Ampleford, shut the fuck up so I can read. This ignorant, miserable bunch, they are still far too many people standing by the people's voice. We have failed. This is it. We failed, plain and simple. Our efforts are for naught. No, you failed because you kept pushing me to do dumb shit. The riots before the presidential palace raged on unchecked. I mean, that was quick. That's kind of wild that he went from a couple of hours ago writing a shitty article to there being a raging riot. All we can do now is hope for... What? Raban Vart started an announcement. I fear for the worst. This is the end, Agent. Fuck off. I'm reading other shit. Are you a blabberabot? Are you a real person? Raban's been fighting these rumors. Yeah, I mean, we made it abundantly clear. We've spent this entire day just slandering him and his family in 5 different directions. If it wasn't already abundantly clear that people were going after him for no reason, like, I don't know if this would necessarily build him up, but it certainly would not be super effective. It looked suspicious to like suddenly, you know, have him under attack like this. False information. You know, we never even put this piece of information in. We got the actual data, but okay, well. Calling it your final announcement is a concern. I guess we'll listen.
My dear followers, those of you who still remain, the story that has finally been spread by the despicable government mouthpiece. It is true. All of it. I never saved those children. Because I was too afraid. Because I ran for my life, eager of saving it before theirs. Here I now am. Alive. And they aren't. I had so long forgotten about it.
No, you didn't.
Now it's shaking me to my core. I believed that if I only tried hard enough, I could change things. That I could make things better for my people at home in Parges. I believed I could fight against the corrupt, evil, rotten politicians longing for power at the people's expense. I believed I could free my home country from these parasites and go back home. If only I twisted words long enough. We all need a reliable base on which our world is based. Our truth. This was mine. But now I realize that I've been living a lie. Not only a lie that made you believe in me, but a lie that allowed me to forget who I actually was. A far too comfortable lie.
I'm sorry, it's driving me insane that this is not centered on the screen.
Knowing that even as I speak, you all continue. Carry on, fight on with all your fury, perpetuating that very lie endlessly, creating new truths based on fake claims put out there ages ago. What will become of this world when everybody has their own truth? What will be real, dependable? Everything will be nothing. Truth is dead. And I killed it that very day. I was too afraid to speak up and correct a mistake. But no longer. This story has to end on my terms. There's hardly anything more concrete than a bullet.
Come on.
It creates a tangible, uncomfortable fact. The very thing needed for a resurrection of truth.
It's really ham-fisted. All right. Are we going straight to credits or... It seems like it. What a bizarre conclusion. I actually thought we were going to get another day. Um, I did say earlier that it might end for Raban that way. I was hoping, at least if they did it that way, it would be a little bit less ham-fisted, but it's very on the nose. I mean, okay. I have picked this game. I picked at this game a lot. Pretty much everything I've said, still stands. Still think it has some glaring writing issues. I don't like how it railroads you into certain tools and only reveals certain things at various intervals. It has too many narratives going on at the same time. Many of them are not really directly relevant to the main narrative they're trying to tell. If this is really supposed to operate as a criticism of, media manipulation and oppressive governments and all these other things, then it's very clunky in that regard. We don't get super attached to a lot of the characters. Like, we learn a lot about them, but like they don't have a lot of pathos. And so we're in this weird position where we are very clearly playing as the bad guys who are perpetuating a repressive regime, but at the same time, like, the people that we were trying to remove with very, very poor, we're doing a very poor job of it. They themselves, seems like there's enough damning evidence to just sort of show the truth. If you really wanted to just discredit them, that would have been a lot easier than the reality that was narratively put out here. It's just like, it's so much. It's doing so much, and it should be doing less. And there are just so many threads that the game opens up and are kind of interesting, but then never fleshed out sufficiently to be a cohesive, compelling narrative. My memory is that the first game is much, much better. My memory may be hazy, or, well, it is hazy. My memory may be wrong, but man, that was not, that did not impress me. I don't know. If you made it through this entire thing, thank you for coming. I would certainly like to hear what your take is on the production and the narrative. Because maybe I am known to be very critical. And so maybe it's not as disruptive to somebody else as it is to me. But yeah, it's rough around the edges. There's a lot of narrative threads I think should just be taken out. The whole familial thing, basically all of day 2, could just be excised completely without much loss. And even just the main mechanic about trying to search for data and upload it is overcomplicated with too many tools and too much railroading, so that rather than actually, searching for meaningful information, needles in haystacks, we are forced to tell a certain narrative. I think if you wanted to railroad the player into only telling a certain narrative, if it's the kind of thing where it's like, well, we can't give them too much freedom, otherwise they'll tell the wrong story, or try and tell the wrong story with it, or try and, subvert the narrative, then there's an easy fix to that, which is basically just every time we upload a bad piece of data, or try to, Ampliford or the system says this is not compatible with the philosophy of the nation, and either chastise us and make us not do it, or just, like, after too many of them, just fire us and it's a game over. So this is clunky. As far as I'm aware, there is not another sequel, and nor is there one in the works, and if there was, I don't think I'd go back to it unless I got some sign that it was much, much improved. This is a clunky game. I appreciate what it's trying to do, and it's certainly unique, but it's rough. It's definitely rough. Anyway, is there anything else? Probably not. Thank you guys for watching this narrative with me, and again, let me know your thought, because maybe I'm being unfair to it at times. We're gonna have to find some other things, because this is an interesting game. It's an interesting and unique narrative storytelling thing, and I would like to see more attempts for things like this, even if they're not always great. So I'm still open to the idea. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I've been the Social Solipsist. We'll be back with something different next time.